I've been waiting to put this video out. Tonight we got Canelo, Crawford, Canelo. It's going to be at 168. This should be great. This fight, it's going to be interesting because both of these guys, they are the top of their divisions. Really, this fight should have happened about 2-3 years ago for them to be at their peak. Crawford is getting older. Canelo is getting older. Crawford's got the age gap on him by a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. With these guys, they're both 5'8", but they're very different guys at 5'8". Canelo really fights at like that super middleweight division. I mean, he's kind of a smaller guy at that division, but he can hold his weight there. Crawford is really more of a really big junior welterweight / welterweight. That's where he dominated those two divisions, 140 and 147. But he did hold his own at 154. I don't think Crawford really looked that sharp at 154 with that fight versus what's his name, Madrimov. Israel Madrimov. Madrimov is no slouch. I'm not trying to clown him. The guy, he looks like he can fight. He's got sharp snap on his punch. Crawford could not walk him down. He could not walk through those punches. He had to respect his power. But we have to look at this fight and really just think to ourselves, how this fight could have looked 2-3 years ago with Canelo, having a little bit less damage. Really, Canelo doesn't take damage. He has excellent defense. Canelo with a little bit less damage because he does fight more often than Crawford. And Crawford having maybe less potential ring rust because he does take almost a year off each fight for the last few years. The last time that I watched him live, because the Madrimov fight, I watched it like a day after. The last time I watched it live was the Crawford-Spence fight, and he definitely looked phenomenal during that matchup. Errol Spence at that time was the boogeyman in the welterweight division. However, Crawford clearly showed that he was not scared of that man, had a game plan for him, and basically the fight styles, he was all wrong for Errol Spence that night. Canelo Alvarez is a very interesting fighter because his defense is really, in my opinion, his defensive skill is probably second to Floyd of the last 10 years that I've watched boxing. I mean, this guy, his head movement is phenomenal. He has a very good chin. I've never seen Canelo really, look scared in the ring or look shook in the ring when it comes to anybody's power. He's able to weather the storm, but he also does not get hit clean very often. It's very rare. Now, yes, he did lose to Bivol. And yes, that first Triple G fight was very suspect in terms of the result. The second and third Triple G fights, he left no doubt. The third Triple G fight, Triple G was clearly out of his prime. The second Triple G fight, that was one where Canelo showed that he was the better fighter. However, I understand some people are going to bring up the fact that Canelo had the whole clenbuterol issue. I mean, yes, clenbuterol is clearly something that he really shouldn't have been using. It's, I believe, a bronchodilator, and Canelo has issues with his endurance late in fights. That's probably his one knock. But, he really should not have been using that. They claim it was from tainted Mexican meat. Personally, I don't really believe that that's the true cause of why he was on that stuff. I mean, all these top-level fighters, they're on something. Canelo definitely got caught with it. They say it was trace amounts. However, I mean, I do think it was past just tainted Mexican meat. He's boxing's probably biggest cash cow outside of Anthony Joshua at the time. Now Canelo sits at the top money making wise, but at the time he's up there. He's getting revenue. There's no way in the world his team should have been allowing any sort of funny money with the meat. So really, that story, I didn't really believe it. But on the other side, in case anyone wants to say Canelo's a cheater, we got to look at Bud Crawford as well. I mean, this goes without saying. The man has Victor Conti in his camp. Now, I know he's working with Snack, that whole supplement group there that Victor Conti likes to run. I don't know what. I mean, there were some guys that had some funny things on Reddit, talking about Victor Conti's chicken, broccoli, and rice special, whatever the hell he's putting in that stuff to make these fighters juice up and bulk up without getting caught with anything. But Terrence Bud Crawford, him and a few other guys, I think Boots also uses them. I know Devin Haney has used them in the past. That Snack, anything associated with Victor Conti, I know he's quote-unquote turned a new leaf, quote-unquote allegedly. I'm like, anything associated with Victor Conti is suspect. So on both sides, I don't want to hear anybody from Canelo's camp talking about drugs because that man was using clenbuterol for a little bit. Might still be on it. Who knows? I don't think he's on it anymore. But Terrence Bud Crawford's camp can't really be talking because recently, I think it was right before the Spence fight, he started using Snack or working with them, associating with them. And that is definitely suspect as well. So that really cancels itself out. Canelo, his head movement, he rarely gets hit flush, and he usually rolls with the punches. I think after his Floyd fight, that's really where he learned a lot. He may not, be best friends with Floyd or anything like that. These guys fought. Obviously, they're not going to be best buddies. But these guys, it's clear that, each fight you take a little bit from the last person you fought. learning from that, watching the tape, and it's clear that he learned a lot from Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd is quick as hell. Canelo is not quite as quick. However, with what he has, he is moving and grooving when it comes to head movement. You'll never catch him flush. Very rare. Triple G had power. He had dynamite in both hands. The manos de, I forgot the word in Spanish, but homeboy from the 80s, 90s, Roberto Duran. That boy had hands of stone. That's kind of the type of guy Triple G is. Could not put Canelo on his butt. Couldn't knock him out. So, I mean, really, Canelo definitely has a chin, and he can roll with the punches. Now, this is years later. This is like 7 years after those fights, 6 years after those fights. So this is a whole different version of him, with more wear and tear. However, we see how he look against Billy Joe Saunders, all these Caleb Plant dudes, these 6 foot plus guys. He'll fold them. He's got really good power. I think Canelo's body shots are heavily underrated. Canelo puts a lot of work into the body. He will chop the tree all night. Now, Terrence Crawford, that's really where he has to watch out, because Canelo, Crawford's edge on him is that he's got more speed. Crawford's, I think his timing on punches is a little bit better than Canelo. Crawford has a very weird style. He kind of goes into this flow state that they talk about in martial arts, where he kind of sees everything happening. I don't think his defense is as good as Canelo's. Let's get that straight. I think Canelo has much better defense. He blocks better. He dodges better. Head movement is better. And he doesn't take as many unnecessary shots as Crawford does. Crawford, I think sometimes he gets into that showboat status where, he'll switch hit. And when he starts getting to that switch, that stance switching and all that stuff, that's where he gets caught up, I think. He's got to download that information much quicker, because Crawford is usually a slow starter, as we saw in the Sean Porter fight. I think it was round 8? No, it wasn't round. It was like round 8 or 9, where Bomac told that man that he was down in the cards. As soon as he heard that, that's when he wanted to turn it up, turn that computer on and really go to work and start going on attack mode. The problem is, Saul Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. No disrespect to Sean Porter, great fighter, but Canelo is on that level where he's knocking on the door of the all-time greats, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Muhammad Alis. He's a step under that in terms of overall cachet in the sport. Same with Bud Crawford. They're like right underneath that status. This is a whole different level. So Crawford is not going to be able to come out, with a 3-4 round disadvantage and try to outpoint Canelo. Or not outpoint him, but try and knock him out, because Canelo could potentially outpoint him. So really, this fight overall, I think, could Crawford catch him round 9 or 10? Yes, but I think Canelo's going to be putting in way too much work to the body. Crawford is not the same guy as he was 2 years ago. He's also moving up two weight classes. He usually fights at that 147, weight class. After the Spence fight, he moved up to the 154 for one fight. But now he's going to have to go up to 168, which is a big change. Now, I know these guys have walk-around weights and all that, but still, this is a big change from his 140, 147 days where he dominated so easily. I mean, he's not going to be fighting Jeff Horn, Sean Porter. Even Errol Spence is a really great fighter, but I mean, this guy, Canelo, the amount of body work he's going to be doing the whole night, from, in my perspective, what he's probably going to do game plan-wise, he's going to have to chop that wood, really slow Crawford down, because Crawford has more speed. However, we have to see how much of a speed advantage he has at 168, because he's going to be putting on that extra weight. He does look a little bit more swole walking in for the fight, so he's definitely going to be packing a little bit more weight. It's going to be hard. No homo. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for him to keep up that energy the whole night, carrying all that extra weight. But we'll see. I think that Canelo has the advances on Crawford, in that he's faced fighters that are on Crawford's level. He's faced a Floyd Mayweather. He was much younger. He was 23 when he faced Floyd. But for the guys who are saying that, he was too young, he was a baby, Floyd was like 37. So let's knock it off. He got beat by a 37-year-old. Now, that does not erase what Canelo has become. Canelo is like an A-level fighter. He's a top-type fighter, pound for pound, no matter how you want to slice it. It's him, Crawford, and homeboy in the heavyweight division, Usyk. And maybe you can give that one Japanese cat, Naoya. Anyway, that dude's nasty too. Those 4 guys, I mean, for the last 5 to 7 years, there's really no argument. It's one of those guys at the top each year. Now with Crawford, he's going to have to time Canelo with the jabs. He's going to have to go straight. Really, his southpaw stance, he kind of works better from that. His traditional stance, I'm not a big fan of him when he's in that stance, but he did well against Spence, both stances. I think he's going to have to be a lot more offensive minded. He's not going to be able to come out and download information, all that, because Canelo will get an early 2 to 3 round lead. And if he does that, Bud's going to be swimming in deep waters that I don't think he's going to be able to handle. Now, Crawford, he doesn't have the kind of power that Gennady Golovkin has. However, he has that sneaky power where he'll hit you at the right time. It's the punches you don't see coming. So if he hits you with that punch you don't see coming, that's where you could be in trouble, and especially if he's on that snack. But then again, Canelo could be still on that clenbuterol, so we'll see. I'm not a betting man. I don't gamble. But if you were a betting man, I'd probably say Canelo's most likely going to win this fight. Should be interesting, though. I think Crawford has the goods. If you ask me who's the better fighter overall, I think Crawford is a better fighter. However, I think at this stage in their careers, with the kind of experience that Canelo has and the power, with the wear and tear that Crawford has as well. In fact, he's jumping up 2 weight classes. This is a whole new game that Crawford's playing in. I think if they fought 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago at 147 or 154, Crawford's probably going to handle this fight, handily, not whoop him, but handily beat him. It's going to be a tough one. Crawford is stronger than people think, by the way. He did not get manhandled by Errol Spence the way people thought he was. He was actually bullying Spence in the ring. He's very strong. I think he has a pretty strong wrestling background from what I remember. But no, Terrence Crawford is definitely one of these freak athletes. He could have been basically good at whatever sport he chose. Canelo, however, I think Canelo's head movement is going to give Crawford a lot of trouble. Canelo's chin is going to surprise Crawford because Canelo has a very good chin and he does not get hit very often. That's a dangerous combination, especially when you have the kind of offensive firepower that Canelo does. We'll see. This should be an interesting fight. I got Canelo, but it's not by a long shot. I think Canelo's probably going to win by a majority decision. But if Crawford does win, he's probably going to have to win via knockout. So we'll see. As usual, don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourself. God bless.